In a previous video, I mentioned that in the US alone, 3 billion toys are sold every year. In another video, I talked about how the natural gas and oil industry is shifting from fossil fuel production to plastic production, making both single-use and durable plastic goods more abundant and cheap. We purchase things often and abundantly. This culture we've adopted has consequences for humans and the environment alike. What if we revisit how we spend time with our kids and find that less is actually more? Let's talk about it. Hi, and welcome back to Mama's Footprint. I'm Dr. Floyd Raymer, and this is a channel about sustainability in parenthood and childcare. I'm a community college professor, and I'm a mom of two beautiful girls, Beatrice and Sophia. They teach me something new every day, and the video I'm making today is a sample of the many things I've learned with them. A significant part of the world has adopted a consumer-driven culture that has become embedded in everything we do. Our careers, our schools, our holidays, our homes, everything seems to be governed by what, how often, and how much we can purchase. The beauty standard of our social media holiday posts seems to be measured by how many gifts are wrapped under the tree. We tend to choose our careers based on how much money we'll get to spend rather than on how much time we'll be allowed with our kids. We go out for lunch with our family, but there is silence around the table because everyone is staring at their personal screen. What I'm saying here is that we have become dependent on having material things. And these are manufactured items, meaning there is, more often than not, a significant carbon footprint attached to everything we do. From the manufacturing process itself, yes, but also from the extraction or harvesting of the raw materials, the packaging, the transporting, the use, and eventually the disposal of these items. Imagine how massive our collective footprint is if everything we do requires material. Something that Beatrice and Sophia have taught me is that the most memorable times we have together usually happen when we don't rely on too much stuff, especially on manufactured toys. Yes, they might be playing with something, but they are impressively creative, and they can turn brooms into horses, clothespins into rockets, shoes into snakes, reusable bags into superhero capes, and so on. And have you seen how amazing a single box can be? The other day, I filled a whole bag with beach toys, only to find Beatrice playing with a piece of seaweed for hours. She got so attached to it, she buried it so another kid wouldn't take it home. As parents, we obviously want what's best for our kids. We want to show them we love them, and we often demonstrate that by giving them gifts. But in doing so, we are A, taking away the chance for them to practice creativity, an asset that they will use for the rest of their lives, and B, we're adding to the carbon they will need to deal with in their adult lives. So how about toning down on buying and focusing on toy-free quality time with our families? I want to share a few ideas here with you. And I say this time and time again. I am so far from getting things perfectly right. My girls have way more toys than I wish they did, and I myself am guilty of that. But to that, I've also said that we need a multitude of imperfectly sustainable parents and caregivers out there, rather than a handful of perfect ones. So here are some ideas. Go for walks and make a list of things to find along the way, like a scavenger hunt. You can also play I Spy or just talk and ask how your kid's day was. Read to and make up stories with your kids. This expands their vocabulary, their listening and language skills, stimulates their imagination, and so much more. You can toss some sock puppets in there for extra fun. Dance. Dancing brings physical, mental, emotional, and social benefits for both children and adults alike. Dancing gets kids moving large muscles, building their gross motor skills. Make art. Art supports the development of cognitive, social-emotional, and multisensory skills. It also provides opportunities for brain development, self-esteem, and creativity. It can come in so many forms. Mix water, flour, food coloring, and salt, for example, and you have your own homemade non-toxic Play-Doh for hours of fun. Origami, finger painting, sidewalk chalk, the options are endless. Do some science. With very simple ingredients you find at home, you can build a lab of multiple discoveries. With a cup of water out in the sun, for example, you can learn about evaporation and how rain is made. A homemade sundial, beans grown in cotton, ground coffee fossils, and fruit oxidation. There are so many key life skills here, including communication, organization, focus, and the ability for kids to form their own opinions based on observations. There's a great list of science experiments in housekeeping.com, which I'll leave in the descriptions for some inspiration. Exercise, as it helps kids manage their anxiety, regulate their emotions, and boost their self-esteem. It increases their concentration, flexibility, and strength, reduces their risk of obesity, and improves their coordination and balance. Go fruit picking. This is not only an opportunity to spend time outdoors with your kids, but it lets them better understand the importance and beauty of agriculture. There are also a lot of science-related teaching opportunities here. Plant a garden. There's so much beauty in watching something is started as a seed become something so nutritious and delicious. Besides gardening being a meditative experience, it also teaches them accountability as they care for living plants. Kids are also so much more likely to eat what they grow, so there's a great strategy for having them eat healthily. Let them get dirty. This is one of my personal favorites. Have you ever heard of the hygiene hypothesis? It basically states that we are over-cleaning our children. Yes, there is such a thing. When we limit our children's exposure to germs early in life, their immune systems become underdeveloped and kids become more susceptible to diseases. That's not all. Outdoor playtime is also linked to multiple physical and mental health benefits. But I'll leave that as a cliffhanger for our upcoming video. Cook and bake with your kids. Kids who cook and bake get to learn and practice basic math and language skills. It also boosts their self-confidence and teaches them the foundation for healthy eating habits. Want more? When you cook and bake with your kids, you are encouraging an adventurous palate. Learning about different flavors and textures sparks their curiosity, and they are more likely to try new foods when they are the ones helping to prepare them. The neat thing about cooking and baking with kids is that you can level it up as they grow. From helping to stir the cake batter to reading the recipe in the cookbook, everyone, regardless of age, gets to enjoy this activity. Have your kids help with house chores. This is indeed a beautiful quality time activity. Rather than telling your kids to go clean their room or put away their laundry, do it with them, at least until they are old enough to do it themselves. Small kids are programmed to help, but with our busy lives, we're quick to dismiss them because they're too slow or clumsy. But with some patience, kids will learn to help while building an important sense of belonging. Doing chores together, even if they're just doing a fraction of it, is enough for them to feel confident and loved. If you want more on this topic, I highly recommend one of my favorite nonfiction books, Hunt, Gather, Parent by Michaeline Duclef. Sing and make up silly songs. Honestly, the sillier you make them, the more your kids will love them. There are multiple physical, psychological, social, musical, and educational benefits to singing. This is a great way to build vocabulary and rhyming skills. Singing engages emotions, promotes self-esteem, and social inclusion. Songs are also a great way to introduce new concepts to children of all ages. They improve kids' listening, memory, and sequencing skills. Volunteer with your kids. There are so many volunteering opportunities out there, so choose based on what is available locally and what you and your family are able to commit to. You may choose to clean beaches, distribute food, visit shelters, foster pets. Whatever you choose to do, make sure you understand the commitment that goes into it. so that the organization can count on you accordingly. Not only will your kids be benefiting others, there is a long list of how volunteer work will benefit your kids. Volunteering helps kids better understand and appreciate what they have. It enhances their world perspective, inspires giving, introduces life skills, builds social skills, develops a sense of purpose, shapes their future, and so much more. Encourage outdoor group playtime. Hide and seek, tag, hopscotch, duck, duck, goose, musical chairs, blindman's bluff, what time is it, Mr. Fox, Simon Says, capture the flag, telephone. The list is nearly endless, and so are the benefits. Not only are outdoor games super fun, they're also a way to help develop problem-solving skills, promote physical activity, boost creativity, and social and emotional skills. I hope this video has inspired you to find quality time with your kids without necessarily having to buy them toys all the time. I wish you many beautiful memories. See you soon.